So we had to wait an extra week to get episode 10 of SK8, and I think the best way to say it is the wait was worth it. I mean, after getting someone like Cherry cracked over the head with a skateboard by Adam, it's hard to think you can make Adam even more scummy than he already was, but leave it to episode 10. He now has his eyes set on Reki. I had a feeling Reki versus Adam would happen. I just originally thought it would happen because Reki would want to try to surpass Langa. Instead, they reached a great ground. They just enjoy skating, and they have different talents, but there's a very common interest. They love skateboarding. For someone like Langa, he just wants to be able to board with someone. That was originally his father. Now that's his best friend, Reki. Reki, he had that envy, he had that determination. He feels like he's being surpassed by everyone, but at the same time, you just want to skateboard with your friend. That's why he used to quit groups. I mean, the group that jumped him in this episode, he didn't want to skateboard with them because he knew that they didn't enjoy the throw of the board. And then in comes Adam saying, well, since Shadow got cracked over the head with a baseball bat, that's going to be my next opponent. I'm going to crush the one who's trying to take away my love, who doesn't love me back, but because I'm a psychopath who is very possessive, I'm just going to go attack Reki. To be able to make something like last week's cliffhanger, find another way to make Adam all the more scummy, leave it to SK8 the Infinity. Now, the recap episode last week wasn't originally planned, and there's actually some good articles I was reading about the production behind SK8 and how if it was pretty much any other studio than Studio Bones, the production for SK8 probably would have fell apart a lot sooner and probably wouldn't have been able to even be completed. Taking a look at episode 10's visuals, I mean, there's some insane animation in this episode, and while there's a couple of bumps, it still looks very highly refined. But Studio Bones is a powerhouse studio, and not many studios can compete with what they do. So SK8 will finish, SK8 will complete and probably look very good, but it goes to show, once again, just how crazy the anime industry is and how overworked it is. If anything, we have to compliment Studio Bones and all of the staff behind this amazing production, because any other studio that tried to take a risk as big as this one, it would have fell apart a lot sooner and probably wouldn't have even finished to begin with. This episode did a lot, and I think probably, I assume anyway, will satisfy quite a bit of people. I feel like this episode and just the kind of progression of keeping Langa and Reki apart, it couldn't last past maybe next week's episode. I wasn't sure if they would resolve it this week, but I knew it couldn't be more than episode 10 or 11. They would have to eventually cross back over. And I love the idea that rather than saying, Reki has to give up on his dreams of skateboarding and just be a boards maker, because we know he's talented at making boards and even teaching people like Langa. The shop owner even says, they're different than us, but it doesn't mean we can't be around them. But there's more to skateboarding than S. And I know some people were like, oh, they really want to see Reki get as good as Langa, but I mean, that's not how naturally the world works. I mean, people have different talents, and it doesn't matter if you really, really want to do something, sometimes you physically just won't be able to beat them. And for a ridiculously as dangerous sport as S is, I mean, it makes sense for someone like Reki to just want to skate with them, cheer them on, but then also have their own competitions that doesn't require you to put your life on the line. So the idea of finding that nice middle ground of simply saying fun, that's the solution, fun. What do you want to do? You want to have fun skateboarding. I mean, you have the assistant to our man Adam here, whose entire goal is to crush Adam and make it so he never skates again. He regrets even giving that board to this crying, abused child because, one, they're not in the same kind of class system. I mean, he's just a little servant assistant. He'll never be in the same league as Adam, but also this hobby, it's horrible. It's ruining everything, so he feels like he needs to rip it away from him. He needs to defeat the monster that he created. But at the same time, when you get conversations like with him and Reki saying you don't know anything about skateboarding, they're chilling in a love hotel after getting hit very slowly by a car, thought we were about to get an isekai episode. It kind of all boils down to fun, and I think ultimately that's what Reki and Langa have shown ever since the beginning of this show, wanting to have fun. And I think they tied it together really well for me, where Langa versus Adam is going to happen. Reki versus Adam, probably. The main difference is, will Reki end up in the hospital? Hopefully not. I'm hoping something will interfere before that happens because, I mean, maybe that's the only way. Maybe Reki getting hurt will be the only way for Langa to avenge him or something, and maybe Reki will encourage Langa to go up against Adam. I don't know, but I don't see how you could want Reki to go up against Adam. Like, how would Reki even want to do that? He's scared of this man, but maybe he'll feel encouraged after his kind of like reconciliation with Langa. I don't know, but like, Adam's a monster. Adam is deranged and a lunatic, and it's hard to say where they're going to take this, because for me, watching two characters who have had such fun skateboarding together eventually have this wedge where Langa's just doing what he finds fun, but then when Reki removes himself from the equation because he thinks it's too dangerous, Langa stops having fun, and Reki feels depressed and lonely. So the ultimate thing is, like, they need to have fun together. They like skateboarding together, and maybe Langa can do certain things better on the board than he can, but Reki's better at planning things, teaching things, and also just actually making the boards themselves. It doesn't really matter about who's technically better. This episode proves that they don't care about that. They just want to skateboard together. And I think that's one of the standout aspects about this show, is that by having two main characters, both Langa and Reki, both with very different skill sets, and having that wedge and feeling like it was a competition, and people were saying, no, we want to see Reki get better than Langa, and people saying, no, we want to see Langa beat Reki. It just boiled down to, that's not what they wanted. They just want to skateboard and have fun together. But by having Adam as this curveball, it kind of disrupts that flow and gives a very exhilarating and worrisome feeling for those final two episodes. To me, this is absolutely what I want to see from a sports anime, not the typical, there's one main character, and if you do have that second main character, he never reaches the first main character's skill level or anything like that. No, these two are equals. They are just very different in terms of like their pure skill set. While they're both talented at skateboarding, one has a more extreme skill set and one has a more technological, kind of skill-based, mechanical sort of a situation repairing the boards. But to them, they don't need to have a trophy to say which one's better. That simple scene at the end of them skateboarding off of like the most basic ramps is the most fun these characters have had in weeks. No downhill extreme life or death match. It's simply two friends having fun, understanding what it means. And how do you get them back in the S rank? Well, Adam's going to force it there. And I think that's a great thing. And I think, honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way after seeing how they execute it. The show is without doubt one of my favorite sports anime that have been made. While I'm not the biggest fan of them, and I can pretty much count on one hand how many I've actually enjoyed, I still feel like it's so distinct and unique, and I really feel like this is a project that deserved to happen. It's a project that deserved to have this much passion behind it. And I hope the final two episodes won't have any more bumps along the road, because this is a team that are putting their all into it, and we just got to do our best to support and cheer them on the same way the characters are cheering their friends on. And I hope no more violent actions. But I mean, if you have an episode where a character almost gets isekai'd and a character gets hit in the head with a baseball bat after coming off of the previous episode where a character gets clocked in the face by a skateboard, a gun's gonna get pulled next week. That's basically the direction we're going. Great episode, emotional, satisfying. I really enjoyed it. Let me know your feelings down below. Did you feel the same way, or did you feel completely different? How are you feeling? Of course, let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, share your support, and hit that subscribe button if you're happy and you're around here. Since next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.